Welcome back. My name is Nigel MrSchroeter, and today I'm going to be telling you how to get multiple credit cards in one day. Specifically, a strategy that I've used to be able to get 6 to 10 credit cards in one day. And particularly how I use the strategy. I'm going to give you guys some examples, some different cards that you can go for, and just kind of break this down to help you figure out your credit journey and what you're going to be using on your credit journey, what skills and tactics you can take advantage of, and how it's going to allow you to grow your credit profile. So, as always, before we get into the video, please take a second just to like this video, give it that thumbs up, and share this video to someone else so that they can see it if you feel like they can benefit from the information in this video, as well as comment below and let me know if you enjoyed this information and if you like more information similar to this in the future. So let's get started. How are we going to be able to get multiple credit cards in one day? Like I said, 6 to 10 credit cards in a day. Hands down, one of the easiest methods out there in the credit world. But yet it's so much kept a secret. So this particularly, I've heard it called many different things. The first time I was introduced to it, it was called the credit spree. So that's what I call this. If you ever hear me reference it in another video about going on a credit spree. So what is a credit spree or an app spree or whatever you want to call it? Basically, you're going to set yourself up to be able to apply for multiple credit cards in a short time frame. Apply for all of them at one time, and you're going to be able to get approved for multiple cards at one time without having to worry about your approval odds, going down in between cards because of how this particular strategy works. It's going to be very quick, and you're going to have to move very quick with this strategy, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. So what you want to do, the first thing you want to do is you want to apply for cards pre-qualification first, right? You want to go through and do the pre-qualification application first on any cards that you want to apply for. So some that I can recommend, if you're doing TransUnion, you can use Navy Federal Credit Union. If you're going to for your Experian, you can use FNBO, you can use American Express. There used to be a lot more pre-qualifications that were just out there and open. Now there's less, so you have to be kind of careful. You can also check out NASA Federal Credit Union. There's different credit unions out there that have their pre-qualifications available. So do all your pre-qualifications and try to figure out where the cards pull from. So like I said, NFCU is going to pull from TransUnion. FNBO and Amex are going to pull from Experian. Now, what you want to do is you want to try to separate your cards to where you have 3 cards in each different category. So remember, the credit bureaus are 3 separate entities, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find 3 cards that will pull from TransUnion, 3 cards that will pull from Equifax, and 3 cards that will pull from Experian. This can get tricky because certain banks will pull from different credit bureaus at different times, and certain banks pull from multiple credit bureaus. So what I will tell you is if you're going to use this method, the first card that I always recommend filling out the application for is the Apple Card. The reason being, the Apple Card does not pull a hard inquiry until you hit accept on it, right? So you can run your credit. They're going to give you an approval. They're going to give you a value. They're going to give you an interest rate, everything. You just hold that until you're done with the rest of your TransUnion spree. So how I kind of run that, I do my Apple Card pre-qualification. Then I'm going to do my Navy Federal pre-qualification, right? Then I typically like to have a card that I call a safe card, which is going to be one that you can get approved for, typically even with high inquiries, and it's got lower approval odds. So then that's when I like to go for either the PayPal card if you want a cash card, or the Amazon store card if you're someone who shops frequently with Amazon. So now you've done your first two pre-qualifications and you've locked in the Synchrony card as your third card. So how I do that is I want a high limit on my Navy Fed card. So I fill out my Navy Fed application. I fill out my Synchrony Bank application for either the PayPal card or the Amazon card, whichever one I choose. I click the Navy Fed application first. A couple seconds later, remember, you're going to have two browsers open, or either you're going to do one on your phone, one on your laptop, however you got to do it to be able to have two browsers. You can even do two tabs, but it's quicker with two browsers, and it typically makes it easier to do. So you're going to click your Navy Fed first, then wait just a second or two, click your Synchrony application. Now your Navy Fed is going to get approved. You're going to get the highest limit you possibly could have gotten from that Navy Fed. Then you're going to get your Synchrony application. You've already got your credit limit from your Apple Card, so you already know what you're going to get from them. So then once you process those other two, then you process your Apple Card. Boom, you've got 3 approvals right there back to back, right? So that's easy game right there. 3 approvals, and I gave you the 3 banks to hit. Navy Federal, the Apple Card with Goldman Sachs, and typically I like to hit the PayPal card with Synchrony Bank. That's going to be your 3 TransUnion right there, and those 3 are definitely going to pull TransUnion. So you got your 3 TransUnion on lock. Now next, granted that you don't already have an American Express card, because remember, American Express is not going to typically pull after you have a card with them first. But we're saying this is somebody new to credit. They're trying to build up their profile and apply for, a bunch of cards that have a strong base. So I'm going to go Amex pre-qualify, FNBO pre-qualification, right? At the same time, depending on how I prioritize those banks, I'm going to pull for my Amex or my FNBO first. That's 2 banks right there. You just got to find one other bank that pulls Experian, and you've got your 3 Experian banks right there: FNBO, Amex, and you could do another simple card. Maybe one of the store card. Maybe you get the Kohl's card, because they pull Experian for that card. Boom. Now you've got your 3 Experians. Then this is where it gets tricky, because it's hard to figure out which banks are going to pull what when. I usually will bank on US Bank, Discover, and that's pretty much it. US Bank, Discover, maybe Bank of America to pull Equifax. And then, that could be your 3 for Equifax. You have to be careful with that, though, because they may also pull one of the other bureaus. Typically, I save Equifax to be my last bureau that I do, just because though banks that pull Equifax generally pull one of the other bureaus, and they kind of just pull Equifax at random. So I rather have the peace of mind that I've applied for my first 5 cards that I definitely wanted first before I go to my Equifax. So typically I do my TransUnion, then I do my Experian, then I do my Equifax, and that kind of helps me as well, just in case, if there's anything, I'd rather have my inquiries on my TransUnion if I'm getting denials, than on my Experian, or my Equifax. So that's just a piece of the method, some extra in there. Just personally for me, there's not too many banks that pull TransUnion, so I prefer to sacrifice that profile first if I'm going to sacrifice any of them. Now another thing that I wanted to add to this is steer away from banks that do multiple card pulls. So for instance, Chase, they usually pull Equifax and Experian. So you don't typically want to go with Chase, because they're going to count for 2 cards instead of 1 card out of your potential 9 cards. I say 9 cards because I really don't like to pull more than 3 cards at a time from each bureau. You can in certain cases. I've seen it happen. But personally, for my liking, I don't like to pull, because usually once you get to that 4th card, that's where you'll see a denial. But some people with strong enough credit profiles can still pull that 4th or 5th card potentially, and depending on how fast they do it as well. Capital One, remember, they're doing a tri-pool. They're pulling all three bureaus. So if you apply for a Capital One card, and it's outside of the Kohl's card that only pulls Experian, but if you apply for a regular Capital One bank issued card, that card is going to count for three cards out of this method because it's going to pull TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So remember that now you've already shot yourself down from potentially three cards on each bureau to potentially two cards on each bureau, or even one, because it's going to give you that extra inquiry, and it depends on how strong your report is on whether you're or not you're going to be able to get approved for two or three cards or potentially more off of each bureau in a day. And lastly, also remember that you can throw in other cards like the Tomo card that pull through the Plaid system or Plaid system, however you pronounce it. And by using those cards, you're not going to get a credit check, so it's not going to count in this 10. Just as well as remember that the grain revolving line of credit is also no credit check, and it's through the Plaid system, so you can also use that particular line of credit, and you could potentially get another revolving line up to $1,000 that you can use just like you use a credit card through grain. So with that being said, if you learned something in this video, please make sure that you like this video, comment below this video, share it out with others, and please come back for the next video. As always, we love you all. Thank you for watching, family. We'll see you guys in the next one.